Sometimes in lookup kinds of situations, it's going to be more appropriate to not have an external table, but have the answers actually embedded into a function. We're talking about the choose function. In this example here in column B, in this worksheet called choose, we'd like to come up with the quarter information based on what we're seeing in column A. A key function that we will be using here inside of choose is the month function. And I'll use it just independently at first here. The month function will tell us which month of the year this is. So if this is September, we get an answer of 9, and we see that. September's in the 9th month, but that's the 3rd quarter of the year using standard chronological quarters. So what we want to do here, instead of having a table to look up this information, we'll use the choose function here. Now, a mathematician might come up with a better way to do this. It might not be clear to others necessarily, but you could certainly use other techniques to come up with an answer here. The choose function begins with the concept that we have a value somewhere, either by way of a function or another cell. In this case, that happens to be a 9. But what we're going to do following this, instead of an external table, is have all possible answers. We have only 12 possible answers here as we look at different dates. There are only 12 possible months. When that answer is 1, that would be January, we put in the answer for January. That's going to be in 1st quarter. If this answer here is 2, meaning February, then that 2 is going to be in the 1st quarter, so we'll put a 1 out here too. And the next one, of course, would be March, and we have another 1. So if these entries are 1, 2, or 3, meaning January, February, March, our answers are going to be 1, meaning 1st quarter. And I think you can quickly see how we can fill this out by putting in 3 2s, and then 3 3s, and then 3 4s. Right parenthesis, we're done. We'll double click to copy this down the column. And I think you can see that in all cases here, we do have correct answers. In some organizations, and certainly in the federal government, the quarters work a little bit differently. In the federal government, their fiscal year begins in October. And so January, February, and March are in the 2nd quarter. So if we come up with a month that's 1, 2, or 3, our answer is not going to be 1 for 1st quarter. It's going to be 2 for 2nd quarter. So all we'll do in this case is take out the 3 leading 1s and put them at the end after the 4s. Make that correction, change, readjust, and now we've got the appropriate quarters if we use a quarter system the way the federal government does. So September's in the 4th quarter. Remember, month of A2 in this example is actually 9. So the 9th entry that we see over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, it's in the 4th quarter. So we see that example out there. October begins the 1st quarter of the fiscal year. So you can see how with certain kinds of lookup situations, if the numbers are relatively compact in terms of their variation, this might be a better way to go than having an external table. Everything is embedded within the function itself. Ultimately, of course, this column only needs to be that wide too. So using the choose function is an alternate to a VLOOKUP or an HLOOKUP, both of which require external tables. This doesn't.